Hey guys, and welcome back to another Off the Cuff. Today is going to be a fairly quick one, I hope. It does have a bit of cricket in it, but be patient, don't click away, because hopefully you'll find this one reasonably informative. So, what I'm going to talk about today, a family member brought my attention to this, is just the amount of hypocrisy that we're seeing in politics, in sports, at school. And much of it has been to do with BLM. Obviously, we know that they are really just a political outfit. And if you know that, and you know the things that they really wanted to push, the things that I have shown you numerous times that they have taken off their website now, those are the things that have put people off them. And also, I think, we've just seen the way that this has just gone on, and it's kind of crept into many different aspects of life, has just really frustrated people. And I will show you something as well today that I think proves that. So anyway, what made me think about doing this video was that in the Cricket World Cup that's going on at the moment, we recently saw Pakistan versus Scotland. And they have kind of forced these players to take a knee. I'm sure some of them just want to because it's good for the social media. Some of them maybe just don't fully understand what's going on, and maybe some of them do, and they're just bad people. But yeah, most of them have been told to physically bend the knee and go along with all this. And in this game, it was slightly different. Now, if you'll probably remember about Quinton de Kock, all sorts of kerfuffle was made about him choosing not to bend the knee because he'd done his homework, which again I'll go into later. In this game, we saw, interestingly, Scotland, obviously part of Britain, they mostly white players. Excuse me. They did get down on one knee, and so did all of the backroom staff and the extra players and whatnot. And then Pakistan, they did not bend the knee. Now, this is the first time that I have seen another team where the whole team didn't bend a knee. And it was just interesting to me that the commentator, who is a guy who, although Nasser Hussain, his name is, he has always seemed fairly compos mentis to me. But recently he has been very supporting of the whole movement and all this stuff. So it's pretty disappointing to hear what he said. But anyway, this is what happened. Have a look.
Scotland team and officials take a knee. Pakistan stand with their hand on their heart. Continue fight against any kind of discrimination or racism.
Yeah, so what I don't understand is, and I probably never will, is just the sort of hypocrisy that we see. So literally 5-6 days ago, Quinton de Kock, the guy that I did a video about before, he's banned for a match because he very much he's pretty based. He very much knows what the truth is about BLM. He knows that they are a political outfit and that they do not just stand for being against racism. Because he had educated himself, he gets punished by being banned for a game, and then obviously the management, his captain, and so on and so forth, essentially talk him into, bending the knee and taking the knee. And yeah, what kind of frustrates me, as I said before, about this whole thing is just the rank hypocrisy. Recently we had a politician in the UK. Her name is Claudia Webb. She is a black British woman, Labour MP, and she very nicely threatened a woman with throwing acid on her face, or having acid thrown on her face, doxing this woman and posting a load of nude pictures of her. I presume from that she is something to maybe like an ex-girlfriend of her boyfriend or something. And she went to court. Oh, and she said she could get away with it because obviously she's an MP. She went to court and they just let her go. So I'm sure people will say things like, no, she was given a warning and a suspended, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. She walked out of there scot-free. So the fact that she essentially, like, all she seems to do as a politician is constantly bang on about how life's horrendous for immigrants and, I hate this expression, but, various people of colour in the UK, and it's oh so easy for white people. Well, you threatened to throw acid in someone's face, which is a problem in London and, various places in the UK, and you walked out with barely even a slap on the wrist. But what makes it even funnier is this Labour MP, she was back the very next day tweeting the usual crap that she tweets. So let's have a brief scroll through her Twitter page the next day and a few days after that. Okay, so here we go. Claudia Webb, Member of Parliament for Leicester East, socialist, feminist, Leicester born and bred, she, her. Thanks, Claudia. I would have had no idea what pronouns to use with a 56-year-old woman named Claudia. But thank you for putting that in there. So at the top, we've got the Windrush stuff. It's institutionally racist. We have stuff about USA drone killings. Well, everyone can get on board with that. Although I'm sure, according to Claudia, it's to do with the whites. She shares her solidarity with the disgraced former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn. Oh, look, just a day ago. There we go. A little bit of support there for the racist Jeremy Corbyn. The actual racist. Ironic, isn't it, that the party that is pushing all this is the party that's had 5 investigations for racism compared to the other 2 parties that have had 0. But, Anyway, yeah. So lots of stuff. Anti-white this, anti-working class that, aren't people scum, blah, blah, blah. Racial justice is at the heart of climate justice. Wow. There we go. Yeah, so there you go. And then, of course, we have the whole thing with Loudoun County. So for those that don't know, I think it was like 6 weeks ago or something, maybe a bit longer. A 14-year-old girl was, I hope I don't get stung by YouTube, but anyway, was raped by a 16-year-old boy who was wearing a skirt in the girls' bathroom of a high school. Now, what makes it worse about this whole thing was that the school did not inform the parents that it was a rape. When the father found out, he naturally went absolutely crazy, went into the school, because they were trying to play it down and, oh, well, maybe your daughter's lying. They did a rape test and it turned out that she was telling the truth and that it was this kid, this 16-year-old. But what was, really bad about the whole thing was that the principal had the father arrested because they said he was making a scene. Well, of course you're going to make a scene if you find out that had happened. And the guy that was going to try and prosecute him was a Democratic donor of $840,000. Then we had Barack Obama, who came out and said that the parents were lying and that this was just a right-wing smear job to help the local elections. So yeah. Let's see if Barack comes out and apologizes like anybody with the tiniest piece of humility would do. Maybe that's the word of the day. I'm not going to hold my breath though. But yeah, so you had the local elections. I can't remember if I covered it before, but obviously in Virginia, not local elections, but Virginia gubernatorial election, you have McAuliffe, who is a far, far left, but he kind of pretends that he's a moderate, but he's absolutely not. This is the guy that's talked about how only teachers should have sole decision making over kids once they're in school. What they learn, what they think, what they talk about, etc. And you had Youngkin, who is the Republican, and Youngkin won. Surprise, surprise. But that, it is a very good thing. Now, I don't really trust politicians. I think most of them are crooked to a degree, to a greater or lesser degree. But this is more of a win for the people of Virginia because they now know. I feel like a lot of people think they're alone. People kind of think, but I've never seen any of this going on. Or, it just seems crazy to them. Or they're worried about what's going on with their kids at school. And now, in a state that's been left-wing, supposedly, for about 12 years, I think, to now see that people have banded together to do something, that's a big, big win for the people. So even if that guy Youngkin doesn't do that much, the people should have some sort of satisfaction knowing that they all share similar ideas and that they're trying to fight for their kids. And the good thing was, these are people of all different races as well. You know, I saw people in there that were critical of CRT, critical race theory, from all different races, and, you know, obviously mums and dads. Oh, and, you know, we also saw more hoaxes, more of this kind of SJW hoaxes. Well, you know, they can't get, because, you know, there just aren't any of these things going on, that they manufacture them. We've seen it so many times over the last couple of years. It's unreal, and it saddens me to think that there are people out there that actually plan these things and do them. So what we saw in this gubernatorial race was that when there was an occasion about, I don't know, 10 days before the actual election was held, or the voting was opened, and there was a picture doing the rounds of 5 people holding tiki torches, obviously referencing Charlottesville, and they were supposed to look like, you know, sort of Republicans, because, I don't know, I guess that's what the left think Republicans look like khaki chinos and a white shirt and a red hat. And then obviously holding the tiki torches that we saw the actual neo-Nazis carrying at Charlottesville. And hundreds of thousands of people sent this around the world, going, oh, look how terrible this is. And then people realised that they were all, you know, Democratic donors or Democratic operatives that were doing this for bad publicity. So we had that. And then we also had, very close to when voting opened, where Youngkin was doing a sort of town hall, and I actually saw this, that there was a guy standing right in front of the camera, all of the cameras are going to be in the same sort of area, right in the line of sight to Youngkin, almost blocking him at times, and he was wearing head-to-toe denim, dripping in that denim, and he had a Confederate flag on his back and a cowboy hat, and I just thought, come on, man. Like, you guys must think we are freaking stupid. I mean, we never see this, and then suddenly it's everywhere. You know, but like I say, and this guy, now we found out he's a journalist, a left-wing journalist, activist, I guess most of them are now. And it's just, in my opinion, it's just heartbreaking. You know, like, I don't remember having this. I'm sure it was done now and again, but I don't remember the left having to make up sort of racism or bigotry or whatever to swing elections, and it's so dangerous. I mean, this is just one. We saw it all the time with Trump, but sort of the other way around. Well, not the other way around really either. I suppose just the same way around. I think it's going to happen a lot more. So I think people really, I don't think it would affect most people anyway, but you know, I just don't think people believe most of the stuff they see anymore because of the amount of hoaxes. And it's kind of amusing when you go on Twitter and you still see the same people go, oh, see, that says everything. And you're like, where have you been for 5 years? Have you just not been paying attention? Like, all of these cases turn out to be hoaxes. All of them. It's just crazy to me. Like, anything that involves a politician who isn't far left, and then there are some sort of racial thing going on, you just know that it's just not true. So, you know, we've just seen a lot of hoaxes to try and play politics, and in my opinion BLM is just another one of those, but it's now almost like an arm of the Democratic Party, and seeing it spread into sports and schools, and it's just, you know, absurd. We see hoaxes constantly, because again, like, there's money to be made. There was a girl, I don't know, a few weeks ago who said that somebody had spray painted you know, a racial epithet across her garage door. She started a GoFundMe and got like 160,000, and everyone was like, catch this evil racist. And then it turned out that actually it was her that did it, and like her neighbor had her on film. We see this happen constantly, and it's just driving me balmy. But what is interesting is that we are now seeing, for the first time, BLM, the new BLM, like I say, because I feel sorry for the guy that was actually doing some good work with it before it was sort of, the name was stolen, if you like, by the two Marxist girls that did the video where they're like, we are trained Marxists, blah, 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 blah. For the first time since they've sort of taken the name, it's underwater. So it's now 43% support. That's it. So you saw it peak during the Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor days, where you actually had a divide of about 35%, and I believe support was up at something like 65% in total. And then it started to drop a little bit And then over the last 6 months, it's just been going down and down, because I honestly think people are just sick and tired of it. They are just sick and tired of being preached at. People hate being preached at. You know, you've got a lot of people that know, they're probably thinking to themselves, well, I'm a middle-aged person, I didn't really see any racism at school. You know, I've had friends of different races, never really heard of any issues, and I'm getting this rammed down my throat 24/7. My kids are getting it rammed down their throat 24/7, and I just, you know, I think people are just tired of it. And I do think people are educating themselves as well, but I think a big part of it is attrition. People are just so sick of being preached to. And also there's probably other races out there as well that are thinking, hold on, like, what about us? But no doubt, I'm sure at some point you'll see people trying to take their turn on the victim roundabout. Oh, and actually this kind of links into this, but this is going to sort of be a little sneak peek about something that I am about to do. Because I often get asked to cite something that I bring up, and it's basically, there were 3 surveys done in the mid 2010s before it became fashionable to not put the results out there, or at least the results that they got. There were 3 peer-reviewed journals. 1 was Swedish, 2 were American, or maybe 1 was British, 1 was American, 1 was Swedish. But the 2 that I often cite people are the Swedish one and the one from Harvard. And essentially they show that the least racist countries on earth are Western nations, with the exception of France. So thanks, France. Keep up the bad work. And the most racist countries, listen, this is not me. This is just what came out from this massive survey that they did, is the Middle East, Asia, and sort of sub-Saharan Africa. Like, there's parts of Africa that did well. And yeah, like the Western countries all seem to score like under 5%. The UK, I think, was the second least racist, with like 2.7%. But yeah, I will leave a link in the description. It's fascinating if you ever have the time to read through the whole thing, especially the one from Harvard. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys soon.
Winston stopped writing, partly because he was suffering from cramp. He did not know what had made him pour out this stream of rubbish.